Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for coming.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you for that introduction. And it's an honor to sit here together with my colleague and my cousin, Rabbi Weinfeld. I will begin by giving a halachic overview of the laws of checking one's vegetables from a halachic lens. And Rabbi Weinfeld will give the actual hands-on demonstration. Okay, to begin with, knowingly eating bugs, which is not something we want to do, I presume, is a serious prohibition in the Torah. Could be like between 5 and up to 7 lavim. It's a very serious issue. So the good news is that we're not really looking to eat the bugs, and most of us, I think probably all of us, would not willingly, knowingly want to eat the bugs. So the question becomes, when I have fruits and vegetables that are prone to infestation, that can have bugs and will have bugs in them, how much of an effort must I invest and put into the cleaning and the checking of such fruits and vegetables in order to make them in the category where they're halachically assumed to be okay and I can safely eat them? That becomes the question. Now, the Torah was not given to Malachi Hasharis. The Torah is not given to angels, so halacha is not expecting us to achieve levels of perfection that are beyond the scope of human ability. Rather, the Torah is expecting us to invest proper due diligence in cleaning the fruits and vegetables in the way they're supposed to be done so that we can consume them appropriately. A couple of other laws which come into this discussion are the laws of nullification. In halacha, a whole bug, which is known as a beria, is not nullified, even though you're going to have more than 60 times the mass of permissible material, permissible fruit or vegetable, whatever it might be. But if the bug remains whole, it's not nullified, because essentially, if it's whole, it has a status to it, so to speak. It's a beria, so it's not going to be bottled, it's not going to be nullified. So we should remember from the onset, just because the amount of bugs or the actual volume it takes up is very small, it doesn't mean it's going to be nullified. If it's whole, even if it's dead, it still would not be nullified. On the other hand, if it's fragmented, if it's broken apart, then we would apply the principles of nullification in 1 in 60, which is why they invented the smoothie machine. That's probably a joke, but no, they made it for the Jewish people. But all kidding aside, a good smoothie machine, whether it's a Vitamix or a Ninja, they have all these different ones, but ones that actually purify and liquefy the fruits and vegetables into a very, very fine substance. And the halachic guidance we got from our halachic authorities, our rabbanim, are size of a pencil dot or smaller. At that point, you can be sure that no whole bug is going to survive the trip. And therefore, it's very important, obviously, the requisite fruits and vegetables because of all the health benefits they have. So one easy way to do that would be to have them in a smoothie. Now, having said that, let's say I'm going to take kale or I'm going to take some very, very bug-sensitive types of fruits or vegetables. It is proper to give it a quick rinse, or at least a rinse before putting it into the machine, so it becomes a little bit less infested, so to speak. You're at least toning it down a couple of notches. Not that you can eat it that way, but if it's going to be purified and liquefied in the way I just described, it's going to be fine to consume. So having smoothies and the like, as long as it's a machine that's going to create a very fine substance, is a wonderful tool to use. Now, okay, we're going to get into some categories in halacha. I'm going to go with the derech of Torah, the way Torah teaches us. We're going to go min hakal l'kav. We're going to go from the easiest category to the more complex category. And I have to start with a joke. For those of you that know me, I like to tell jokes. Of course, it's a joke that's connected to our subject, not to be trivial, to be frivolous. But in the 1980s, when I was a counselor in a camp somewhere, in America, they allowed the use of very strong pesticides. They subsequently became not allowed to be used. And there were some people that would use iceberg lettuce just relying on the fact that strong pesticides were used. Others were stringent. They still would check it and like today, you have to check it anyways because the pesticides are not being used here in America. But there was a pizza shop in a place where I was for the summer that relied on this leniency, but they were very upfront. They're very, very open and very honest. They had a sign on one of the paper plates: "We don't check our lettuce. Don't bug us." But all kidding aside, we do have to deal with this issue. And what I'm going to try and do is lay it out in a very clear fashion. And then you'll have a clear understanding. And then you'll be able to see the actual process through Rabbi Weinfeld's presentation. Okay, so we have in halacha, the most easy category would be bechezkas naki, a fruit or vegetable that has the chazaka, the halachic status of being clean. It has the halachic status of being bug-free. 99% of the time it's bug-free. For example, included in this category would be potatoes, regular potatoes, white potatoes, sweet potatoes, apples, oranges, grapefruits. Okay, things of that nature. Those are it's unusual to find bugs in them. Now, if you see an apple with a big hole in it, okay, so then you obviously have to pay attention, maybe cut away that part, make sure there's no worm inside. But ordinarily, such a thing, if it has the chazaka being clean, you just wash it, just whatever, or eat it straight away. You have no obligation to clean it. Just give a quick glance to make sure it looks normal, and then you're good to go. I do want to mention that some oranges, sometimes you can have the scale bug on the skin itself. We're talking about actually just peeling it and having the fruit itself inside. Okay, then we get into the next category, would be a category of miyatam matzoi, which refers to a type of fruit or vegetable that has a small amount of infestation or small amount of bugs, which means to say it's not a surprise if you see bugs there. It doesn't mean you're going to see them all the time, but it's not a surprise if you see them. So it would be a surprise if you see a bug in your apple, or you see a bug in your potato, or a worm inside your fruit, grapefruit or orange, right? That's a surprise. It's unusual. But if you see a bug, for example, in iceberg lettuce, it's not a surprise. It can happen sometimes. It does happen sometimes. So I would say in general sense, Rabbi Weinfeld could give you more detailed presentation, but in a general sense, iceberg lettuce, cabbage, and peppers would fall into the category of something that it's not a surprise. It could happen. So even though peppers are whole on the outside, the surface apparently is permeable, and you can find a worm inside pepper. I've seen it before, and therefore when you cut open, you should cut the crown off and then check the inside to make sure there's no foreign substance there that doesn't belong there. We're going to get into dates. Dates are more sensitive. I would say they're more likely to be infested. Also a lot harder to check. And now we're going to get into a discussion. Can I have triple washed shredded cabbage without a hechsher? With a hechsher, gets into a whole discussion. So I'm going to discuss that after I finish my presentation. First, I'm going to lay out the different types of vegetables, and I'll talk about whether or not we can rely on a triple washed vegetable. So that's pretty much the category of what we would call miyachein matzoi. It can happen. It's not a surprise when you find a bug there, but it's not so common. But then we have another, the most severe category, something it's usually infested. So usually 1 out of 2 would be 1 out of 2 portions, and how you define a portion is a whole discussion. But some of the examples of fruits and vegetables that are infested would be romaine, raspberries, blackberries, bok choy, kale. There's many other examples. Strawberries also are infested and have to be cleaned properly. So those are vegetables or fruits and vegetables that need a more of a serious and a more of a thorough type of a washing and cleaning and checking system to be able to make sure they've achieved the threshold of being becheskas naki, the chazaka, that they're clean. So this is just a general overview. Now, what about buying something that's triple washed? For example, you can go to the store and buy triple washed shredded cabbage. Is that acceptable without hashgacha? So I think there are different opinions about the matter. I'm going to show you my opinion. Cabbage in general is a firmer type of vegetable, and when it's shredded, it doesn't really have much fold. It's just more of a stick type of shape. If it's triple washed from an established company, I believe halachically one's allowed to consume that straight out of the bag if it's from an established company. There are those that might say you should still get a hechsher. It's very nice, but I think halachically one can support themselves from triple wash cabbage. When it comes to triple wash iceberg, I would not say that, because or spring mix. First of all, you have folds in they're more sensitive, they're more prone to infestation, and also they have folds inside the lettuce, and then the bugs would adhere a little bit stronger to them. So those would need to be further checked or further washed to make sure. And arugula is in the category of very sensitives. we'll talk about that soon. Okay, so that's just a general overview about that. Now, what about actual checking? So there are different methodologies. To go ahead, let's say I'm going to take a bug sensitive, I'm going to take my romaine, I'm going to look it up to the light, I'm going to look at it all day long. So some Rabbanim have an interesting approach. They say, well, today we live in a very fast-paced society. A lot of things are disposable. We're really not preconditioned to have that level of patience and to be really, to thoroughly check everything so well, even though we mean well, and we're all Yirei Shamayim. Therefore, some Rabbanim, they favor a very thorough washing system, which Rabbi Weinfeld is going to show you, because that's much more easier to implement, and it's easier to actually have a system with it, rather than actually checking each piece. And some bugs are actually the same color as the vegetable itself, which makes it further challenging. So therefore, we want to try to find something that's going to be practical. It's a system that's going to be able to work while also doing what our halakha obligations are as well. Now, there's also the halachic discussion of when something is considered to be infested. For example, let's say I have a bag of a baby spinach, right? Spinach is also it's infested. It's common to have bugs there. So if I find one bug out of more than 10 portions, let's say a portion is 3 ounces, and I have 36 ounces or I have 40 ounces of a bag of spinach. So I found one bug. So the ratio is less than 1 in 10 in terms of portions. There are various halachic authorities that have discussions of how we determine this. When we say less than 1 in 10, is it 1 in 10 actual pieces? Is it 1 in 10 portions? But the accepted practice amongst many Rabbanim that we consult with, and which is, I believe, how we follow as well, would be 1 in 10 portions. So if you're getting to a level where you're going to have less than one bug, you're not going to have a bug within 1/10 portions. You're going to have, let's say, 11 portions, and then you only have one bug. That would be considered to be an acceptable ratio to reach. Obviously, if you see the bug, you have to take it away. But we're looking at what our obligation is as Jewish people in terms of what our avodah is to do, etc., in order to make sure that it's going to be bug-free. A few other points I want to mention, then I'm going to hand it over to Rabbi Weinfeld. Anything that's very much of a cluster, such as this in front of us, where it's very much of a bush, a tight bush, there's plenty of room for the bugs to hide, and it's really impossible to clean unless you break it open and really take it apart piece by piece, and that's very, very challenging in and of itself. And one of the reasons why strawberries are challenging is because you have the webbing on the outside of the fruit, and there's room for the bugs to burrow in and out, and the same would be even more so with raspberries and blackberries. And then the last point I want to touch on is there's a concept in halacha as ein mevatlin nisin l'chatchila. We're not allowed to knowingly and willingly want to try and nullify a forbidden material to make it permissible. So how is it that we're allowed to take, for example, kale or blackberries and raspberries and put them in a smoothie machine and liquefy them and make them, pureed to a fine substance of a pencil dot or smaller? The answer is that we don't want the bugs there. Our kavanah, our intention is not to nullify the bugs. And it's better to rinse it first, as I said before, because it comes a little bit, it lowers it down in terms of the concern. But our desire is not to actually nullify the bugs. It's not our intention. Our intention is we want to make a smoothie. And I believe that's a very valuable way of being able to consume a lot of these important fruits and vegetables. For those that are going to serve them whole, you'll learn how to clean them. Another thing I want to mention is if you're going to buy triple washed, bug-sensitive fruits, vegetables, let's say, for example, arugula is bug sensitive. It does need further cleaning, further checking. Rabbi Weinfeld can give you the details of that. And the challenge with that is that when you have something that's already been triple washed, it tends to, if you're going to wash it again, it'll get kind of soft. So you really have to serve it right away. So these are some of the challenges we face, but we have to deal with what's required and find a way to make it work. I hope that's a valuable and helpful base, and I'm going to turn it over to Rabbi Weinfeld. I have to excuse myself, I do have to leave, but thank you very much for your time, and Rabbi Weinfeld will take the floor.
Yeah, Rabbi Hanoka, thank you so much. Have atzloche. I understand you have to go. So before we go to the practically way of checking vegetables, I want to say a few things that are part of the practical part of what we do tonight. So you see, I asked the Me'argenet, whatever the organizer of this evening, I think I don't even know the name, but I was WhatsApping. Oh, okay, good. And I asked her to buy Andy Boy lettuce. And she did. She did. She did. And why? One of the most important things by us going to the supermarket, buying vegetables that needs to be checked for bugs, is the quality. Many times we see some vegetables will be much cheaper than last week, or some places will be much cheaper than other places, and there is a reason for that. Normally, regularly, sometimes these are yotze min haklal, exceptions. But normally the reason that it's so cheap, it's because maybe if you're going to look on the date of until when it's good, it's almost over. Or it's a company that no one wants to buy really, because when you buy it, you find many bugs, you find inside rotten places. So therefore you think you saved $4, or when by, let's say, a restaurant or a school or whatever, they buy cases. So you saved $8 on a case, or $16 on a case sometime by some vegetables, and it's a lot of money. Because when you buy 80 cases of many different things for a school, you save a few $100s sometime, and that's a lot of money. But then you lose money, because the guy that needs to check the vegetables for bugs, he will throw to the garbage sometime a quarter or third or half of the case. Sometimes the whole case will be turned back, because when you open each one, you're going to see already from the beginning that it's full with bugs, or sometimes flies or other stuff. We will talk soon about more details. So you think you save money, but you really don't. Better, and especially as families, or maybe you will be shluchos in the future, but then when you will be shluchos, it's quantity also. But for Leila Seder, so much lettuce, for other events, or for every Friday night. And today, more than when I was in your age, the majority of the salads on the table has lettuce or kale or cauliflower or other stuff. We used to have Israeli salad, and that's it. And baba ganoush, and other, a few other tahina, and potato salad, coleslaw. But today we use so many stuff that needs to be checked for bugs, and we want to have the health of the salad and not the protein of the box. So buying fresh material, good, a little bit more expensive, we really save money and we have good quality. Number two, after we do everything that I'm going to show you what I do, one of the most important thing that the lettuce, for example, should stay clean and also free from bugs when we put it in the fridge, and the leftover or whatever, or maybe we need it just for tomorrow night, and I do it today already, to dry them. So in the restaurants, in the caterers, in the hotels, we have dryers for vegetables. We have like a machine, sometimes electric, like a dryer for clothing. So we have a dryer for vegetables. It's not getting hot. You don't want you don't want the vegetable to go bad, so you don't want to cook it in the dryer. But it's like a dryer that takes out the water, and you're getting very dry vegetables. And then when you put it in the refrigerator, the best thing is to put a piece of paper towel behind in the container. And if there is any other, a few drops that was left in the vegetables, it's going to go to the paper towel, and it's going to stay dry. If it's staying dry, this means bugs are not coming. Bugs, flies, all this kind of stuff, they like the moisture, they like the water. This is how they stay alive. This is their oxygen. This is what they like. Therefore, when we dry the vegetable, we don't have box. So, what?
What if it's like a salad that's already dressed? Is that okay? Like, let's say I
Yeah.
already had.
Yeah. And then we put it in the refrigerator this way. Rabbi Hanoka, yeah.
You mentioned at the beginning, if you have like a thing of lettuce that has a lot of bugs, like right when you open it, you can't like check them, like clean them and check them and still use it and throw in garbage.
If you take a case of lettuce or a bag of lettuce and you see such a thing, let me show you. A little.
Careful the wire.
Oh. Sorry. You see a little thing like that. This might be a problem, but you cut it and you don't have any more a problem.
You need to cut that off.
This piece, yes, because maybe it's a little tunnel of a bug. But it's not a major problem. Doesn't make this whole piece of lettuce bad. Yeah? But I will get rid of this piece, but not the whole piece. But sometime you get a, yeah, please. Sometimes you have here in the middle like a tunnel.
Like what?
A tunnel of a bug or a few bugs. So you have to make sure any not regular color of the vegetable has to make you to make a question, what is this about? Why is it here? Might be something is inside. We don't have to get nervous, like Rabbi Hanoka mentioned before. Lo nitna haTorah lemalachei hasharet. Hashem was not giving the Torah to the Malachim. He gave it to us. So there is a way how to wash, how to clean. But until a few years ago, the way how we checked in our restaurants and other hechsherim also, many hechsherim until today is like what we all do at home. Leila Seder, what we do, we buy a few pieces of lettuce, depends how many people we have at home, and we wash the lettuce with soap or without soap at home. And it's not a big deal. And then we wash it very good because we want to get rid of the soap and also bugs if they are somewhere. But then we have to check, and we do it one by one against a strong light or on top of a light box that we have in restaurants. And at home, I think it's still good. I'm going to show you the other way how to do, but I'm going to speak now for 2-3 minutes about the way how we do it normally. We soak it in water, room temperature water. Don't put that in hot water because you're going to ruin it, and you don't have to. If you have to, like we will do by cauliflower and broccoli, because without the hot water, we're not going to get rid of bugs. We will speak about it soon. But regular vegetables like kale, celery, parsley, lettuce, cabbage, you just take them apart. They should not be connected because they should really be washed good from all sides. And you soak them better in soap water. Today you can get veggie wash, that it's not with chemicals, but even with what I have like today I was bringing regular dish soap. After you wash it very good later, you still leave it for a few minutes, like you can see in the booklet. I'm giving in Hebrew and in English, a explanation how to do it. That you soak it for a little bit. When you soak it, one of the most important, you can check the booklet later on if you want. Just focus on what I say and you will remember. The main thing is that you soak the vegetable in water. And of course, if you have soap in the water, you mix it before. You should also mix the vegetable in the water for the few minutes that it's there. And you should also rub with the fingers, not too strong. You don't have to make like that, because then, number one, you're not going to have any more what to serve. Number two, there's no reason for that. You just want to have one thing. Your purpose is that if there is any bugs, they should be separated from the vegetable and they should just be in the water. And the soap The water will make them to leave the vegetable, and to stop what will kill them really. If they being killed, they don't have any more koyach, like lehavdil, a human being. When we are alive and we need to be stick to some, like a wall, we will stick with the nails to the wall. We will do anything because we have the koyach, we have the power. Chas v'sholem, if someone is not alive, Hashem is taking away an neshama, he can't hold himself anymore to anything. So it's like that. Same thing, the havdil, a bog, if he's not alive, he's not going to stick to the vegetable anymore. He's not going to hold on to the vegetable. Therefore, when you just making a little bit gently like that, the box, if there is, don't assume that by lettuce or any other vegetable will always be a lot of bugs and I have to find them always. Yes, if there is bugs, we want to find them or we want to get rid of them. So, but the regular way is that after we did the soaking in the water with the soap for a few minutes, and then a little bit like that, and then we wash them very good under water, then we check them one by one against a strong light, like that, or on top of a light box that I have, what I'm going to show you my way of doing that when we have big quantities soon. And then one by one is fine when we have a few heads of lettuce to do a little bit, one container of strawberry, a few other stuff, a few other things for a regular sapir or a regular Shabbos in a family. When you do a restaurant, or I've been in a JLI retreat, you know, the JLI, a few years ago in the summer, I was in charge, and we had 12 mashgichim. 4 mashgichim, always. 4 mashgichim was in charge only on vegetable checking, 24 hours. So they had 2 shifts of 2 mashgichim each shift. They had an average of between 70 and 90 cases of vegetables every day. Because they had over 2,000 students from all over the world, 5 meals a day. So it's a lot of food. And in California, in the middle of the summer, when it's very hot, we had 135 degrees outside. So vegetable will get bad, very bad, very fast. And therefore, was very difficult there. By the way, we found a lot of bugs in triple washed vegetables there. But Rabbi Hanoka is right with what he is saying. Depends when, depends where. If it's a very hot time, like a season of the summer, in a very hot country, a very hot state or whatever, and it's not in the refrigerator directly from the field, you're going to have a problem. So depends again. Also, by the way, some companies that triple washed, if it's a normal company, so it's fine for some things, but many companies will do triple washed with the same water. Means they have a system, they do something with the water, but halachically, not always will be fine. Therefore, Rabbi Hanoka is so right with what he says, depends which vegetable, which company, and we have to be very careful. Today it's so easy to buy just with the good Sherim. We have a system in the kosher, the famous company, Dole, you know Dole? You can get it in Costco, you can get it huge shredded cabbage or other stuff, and we have a very good system there. So if you see a this means that it's clean for bugs also. Now, because it's difficult to believe that a mashgiach in a restaurant or in a hotel or in a caterer can check 2 cases of lettuce in an hour and a half because he has to finish. And even if you're going to have 3 mashgichim, you don't have so many sinks to give the mashgichim. The place is limited. You can't just do whatever you want. So you have a limited amount of time, a limited amount of space, and a huge amount of vegetables needs to be checked. And to believe that the mashgiach will check one by one, so believe me, what used to be is like that. He used to take we hoped always that is really doing a very, very good job, but we was looking together with other sharing for a better way. And what's the better way? The results are the same and maybe better, but it's quicker and more practical. And this is the way with checking everything with a shmate, a cloth, a mesh cloth. How? And I'm going to show you what I'm doing, but first I'm going to speak about it. What I showed you now, that we're checking one by one, and it's the best if we can do it. Now what we do, we really check the water, but after 3 times washing. So the washing 3 times is very simple, but you have to stick to the way how I am explaining you what to do. Because if not, and this is what I'm writing together with other rabbis in the booklet of the vegetable. Because if you're not going to stick to the way, you're doing your own way, better to do the old way with checking one by one and to be careful about every piece of lettuce or any other stuff. What we do, number one, if it's on the table, you're not going to hear?
It's fine.
No?
Like bring water.
No, just give me a second. So number one, like I said, we're going to buy fresh and the best quality of any vegetable. Okay? Number two, we're going to cut the lettuce from the bottom where it's connected. So after we cut, now we can separate it, all the lettuce. Every leaf will be separated. Of course, you need to know what kind of salad you want to make. If you want to make salad or for like for platters or whatever, sometimes you want to have whole pieces of lettuce. Sometimes you want to have little pieces of lettuce. But for the washing, you can leave them, and it's better to leave them whole, like full pieces. This is what I will do. Separate them. We're going to do 2 today. And now I'm going to go to the sink. So I'm going to have, yeah. I'll do it when I do with the container. Now what I do, I'm going to take, hold it.
No, keep it in.
Oh, okay. You should have wireless already. Maybe after the building will be complete. We're going to take room temperature water. Oh. Yeah, what I'm doing now, I put a little bit of liquid soap, dish soap, in the big container, stainless steel container. Doesn't matter which one, but this is what I have with me. And now I'm going to put the lettuce inside. Room temperature water with a little bit of soap, liquid soap. Let's do everything, okay? while you are separating the leaves, you're also seeing with your eyes that it's fresh, and this is really fresh and nice. You leave them inside for a few minutes and check in the booklet we put exactly the minutes for every kind of vegetable. Usually it's the same, but beside cauliflower, usually, yeah, but for cauliflower it will be 15 minutes. Cauliflower and regular broccoli. You see what I'm doing? I'm just moving from place to place in the water, the vegetables, and with the fingers I'm doing like that. 5 minutes, good. Yeah. No, just 2-3 times from the beginning of the 5 minutes until the last 5 minutes. Yeah.
How do you keep track that you rub each one?
How do I keep what?
How do you keep track that you rub each one?
So number one might be that I'm not, but by moving the whole thing from one place to the other and doing like that, this is why I did more than a few seconds. So which one is really touching the other one? And they are massaging themselves, like, yeah, they are like touching themselves and moving. If anything is stick to any vegetable, the other piece will remove. Still 5 minutes, right? Yeah. While we're waiting with the lettuce another 2 minutes, I will explain you something about what we have here, strawberries. So blackberries and raspberries are the most with the bugs. And not only the most with the bugs, I remember myself giving a class, maybe in the summer days, but I took just a regular copy machine paper and I gave it to each one in the class, a bunch of mashgichim, and I gave them a few containers with blackberries, and I told them to do like that, to take a few of, not strawberries, blackberries, to throw it on the table on top of the paper, like that, and to remove the vegetable from the paper. 60% of the mashgichim found in each paper, but like their own paper, box going around. Because when you was doing them, there was just being thrown out to the paper. Strawberries sometime also, maybe not in the season of now, but the difference between blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries, that blackberries and raspberries, if you see them, they have a lot of holes. So the box, if there is any box, are hiding inside. Therefore, the only way to use it, really, I think everyone holds like that today, is by washing them before and then to make a smoothie. So when you wash, you're really bringing the blackberries and the raspberries to a chazoke that it's more clean, and with the point that you don't have in your attention the kavanah of eating the box, grinding the box, you just want to have a smoothie. Then when you do a smoothie, it's fine, because you was cleaning that in general, and then you make a smoothie. Strawberries, we believe that there is a way how to wash a hole. If I would cut a little bit more or much more, you will see a hole. If you see a hole and you don't do the wash right away, you might have some bugs, if there is any bugs, that will go very, very fast and go inside. They like to hide. So you cut a little bit, no hole. You can't leave the leaves, the greens, because sometimes, a lot of time, the bugs will be around here by the crown. And therefore, you have to cut it before you leave it in soap water like the lettuce for a few minutes, and then you wash it very, very good, and you also gently, while you wash it, do like that. Not only that, when it's in the soap water, also you do like that, like I did before with the lettuce. This is the only way to eat strawberries. Yeah.
What about adding baking powder to the water? Like baking soda.
For cakes, it's good, not for that. We don't believe that baking soda or vinegar or salt helps. Soap helps. And halachically, when you do not a big quantity and you do it at home, no one is obligated to do it with soap. You can wash it very good and check very carefully each leaf. Now we did it already. Let's wash it. So how are we going to do it now? I want to wash it. No problem.
And then from here. Then I like it from here.
You will be able to hear me now? Yeah? So what I'm doing now, I got rid of the soft water, and might be that there is a few bugs inside, or maybe not. I don't care. I don't want to see them for now. So I just threw away the sink, the soap water, and I'm washing every piece under the faucet, under the sink, under the water. Again, with room temperature water.
Guys, do you want to stand up and go and see
What? You can come and stand here and
from
see.
here? You see someone there. You're not looking at them, you're just rinsing them.
What?
You're just rinsing, you're not checking them now.
Not yet.
Okay.
If you're just doing a small quantity at home, you could just rinse it like how you're doing this with water now and then check everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you see that they are not clean, you need even at home to do it with soap water.
What do you have to do this whole process?
What?
Like if you're doing when you're at home and you're just doing this and then you're gonna check and then you see a few bugs, you should do the whole process with the sponsor?
If you see a few bugs, I would suggest not to use it before you soak it for a few minutes with soap water. And then to wash it very good and check one by one again. But when you do what I'm doing, you can do it like that. Means first water was the soap water for 5 minutes. Then what's the second water? What I'm doing now, washing, right?
The rinsing.
So it looks like it's a long process, but it's not. It's a long process only when you hear a class about it. If you do it at home, it's going to be very quick. You have a system. Okay, after we did the 2 times water, number one with the soap for 5 minutes. Number two, washing each piece or a few pieces together, not too tight. The water should get all over. A few pieces, and we washed all of them. Now we're going to put them for another 2 or 3 minutes in clean water with no soap. Like that. Until all the vegetables are covered with water. That's it. We're going to wait 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And while we're waiting, I want to explain you something about cauliflower, but also about broccoli. Not broccolini. You know what's broccolini? Broccolini is very soft broccoli. It's like open. You know what? Looks like broccoli, but they are very like tiny, and they are very open. Let me show you. I can Google broccoli. Younger, yeah. And they are not tight. They are not close. Cauliflower, very difficult. Number one, because many times we have bugs inside. Number two, very hard to get rid of them. Therefore, we will never let anyone under our system, restaurants, caterings, hotels, companies, to use all cauliflower. Let's say maybe to wash it like that. To wash it like that means nothing. You wash only the outside, and inside who knows what's going on. Therefore, the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to cut the cauliflower, and we're going to prepare it to little, how do you call them? Yeah, how do you say it? Florets. Like that. The maximum. The biggest size can be like that, not more. I might find on my phone a picture. I have to look for it. From a mashgiach in a restaurant in Manhattan, long time ago. But I have other pictures. That he checked cauliflower and he found not inside here, because it's very difficult to find, between the roots, a few worms, very big. So we need to look, number one, here, to see that it's clear and nice, and this looks like a fresh piece of cauliflower. And cauliflower or broccoli are very healthy. Therefore, if we have a way that we can make it free of bugs, it's very good. But because they are so tight and close, the only way that we believe that you can really make it happen is by soaking this before even checking or doing anything, for 15 minutes in hot water. Hot water means not from the chainik, from what you make for tea or coffee, but the left side of the sink, like the hot water, it should be hot more than kosher, not warm water, more hot. Might be that you can still put your fingers inside and not get burnt, but still hot. And this 15 minutes, what you're going to do while you're waiting 15 minutes is playing around with the vegetables one by one, like that. Means opening them. And the soap water means the water should be with the soap. By the way, before you put the vegetable inside, you need to put the soap and to mix it. Because if you put vegetables and water and then you put in one side a little soap, it's not going to be part of everything. You have to mix it like we do salt water, so you have to do soap water. Yeah. And what we do like that, when it's in the water, then this makes that the soap water should go in. It's sitting for 15 minutes. And then you get rid of the water, like I did before with the lettuce. You put it again for another, you will tell me soon what the booklet said, a few minutes. I don't think it's full 15 minutes for broccoli and cauliflower. But also hot water, without soap. And again, you're playing around with them like that for a few minutes with all of them. And then you wash, you get the third water with the clean water. We're going to do the same what we're going to do with this water. And let's stop here and do it. And then I will explain, because everything is the same now. Now I'm going to bring my live box. I have to what? Everything.
Is this something you can buy, this light box?
What?
Could you like just buy this light box, like?
Yeah, Weinstein's. Yeah. Not the same, but. Oh.
You need like a specific, like kosher certified light box?
Everything that you have, I will come to with the. One second. Oh,
Everyone is invited to come to the house.
so now, yeah.
Are you back on?
Be careful. You have to put it a little closer. Maybe put it here. No? Come here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the mesh cloth. This is a cloth. We call it a shmate. And nothing can go through beside water. This is why this is very good. It's a very expensive piece. We have it in the office. Someone needs, can help them. Every piece like that costs us around, I don't know, maybe $4 or $5. It's like nothing, but it's very expensive, the material. In Queens, by a company, they bring it from, I think, China.
Yeah, let's say I want to buy one, where do I buy one?
Oh, so in the office you can get, by us in the office.
You go to OK and I'll help you.
Yeah, I have here 3 pieces, I can leave it here.
I'll buy one.
You don't have, I'm not going to charge you for that. So now I'm going to take, look to what I'm doing. I'm going to take this last water. Which number water is this? 3. First one was with the soap. The second one was washing each piece. Now it's again the water that sits for 3 minutes without soap. And why do I have 2 strainers? One is enough, right? The reason for the top is just more comfortable. Then the cloth is not moving. You can throw the water into the sink through here, and even if a few pieces of lettuce are also here, nothing happens. You pick up the top strainer, and you have the cloth, and you take the cloth top of the here, and you check, and you're going to do what I'm doing now.
So this bowl is with the water that you took.
This is with the clean water, the last third water. And let me just.
You don't want to check piece by piece.
Yeah. And you're going to have a lot of times that you're going to have a lot of guests, or in a Chabad house, or in in a restaurant or whatever you do, you're a mashgiach in a restaurant or mashgicha. So now I got rid of all the water from here, and I have the shmate, the mesh cloth. I'm taking the mesh cloth, I'm making sure that I have the central where the water was going to here, and I will check the cloth on top of the, yeah. So now we have to know what you're looking for. You see here a few things. Do we have anything? Yeah? Yeah. Pictures of box. Pictures of box. So depends which, in the booklet you have the same thing. And so you see, this is not a bog. This is a piece of the lettuce. I think so, yeah. How do I know that this is not a bog? A bog, usually you will see with feet. A fly, you will see the shape of the wings. You will see a shape of something. Even a half a bog, by an apple, we say, what is worse than to find a bog in an apple? A half a bog, because this means you ate already half. So even a half a bog means you can see that it's a half a bog. But this is not. So I do it for many years, and I can say that it's clean. You can check by your eyes. You can tell me if you see something different. Happened already. People that are not professional was correcting me even. Yeah? I'm not a malach. Now, what do I tell mashgichim in a restaurant? If you find one bog on this shmate, this means we have a problem. This means we have to do the whole process again for the whole amount that you just checked. If you find another bog or two or whatever, you do a third time. If by the third time you find a bog, even one, the whole amount goes to the garbage. Why? Because this is already a chazoke that you have bogs and you're not going to get rid of the bogs. But normally, usually, if you do it according to what I did, with machshava, first to buy fresh material. Number two, to get rid of the bad pieces. Number three, to separate them good. Not only just a few of them and then to put it inside. To really separate them. The same thing with cabbage, the same thing with celery, the same thing with parsley, the same thing with everything. Parsley. We get them chavilot, how do you say, a bunch, and then with a rubber band or with something that closes them in the supermarket. You have to open them. You have to cut the end where it's very dirty, where it's not fresh. To cut, to take out bad pieces, and then you soak them with soap water, and then you mix them, and then you wash them very good, and you put them again in water, and the last water, what I just said, this is what you are putting through the two strainers, or even one strainer, but make sure the cloth should be all over. Water should not go without the cloth, and then you check the cloth. Checking the cloth means you're checking everything to the last water of everything. If this is clean, and how do we know that we know what we're doing? Because we check ourselves. Means we have a lab in the OK Kosher, and we did many times this way, and every time when we just follow what with our own shita, our own system, and we found it very, very, very clean. If we did it a little different or whatever, for example, cauliflower, how do we know that we needed to have the 15-minute hot water and then with the soap, and then to open them with our fingers to play around in the water, and then to wash them very good? Because after we did it for many times in the lab, this is the only way what we found that we can have them really clean. So it's to print such a booklet, it's a big responsibility. We did it after searching and searching for over a year for many vegetables. Sometime we will, for example, send out an email like a few years ago, or a little bit even less, we sent out an email to all restaurants, no more kale in the restaurant until further notice. Means took a few months until we told them you can have kale again, because the kale in New York was very bad for a season. So even if you wash it very good, and a restaurant is like a jungle many times, like you don't have space and everyone is screaming and you need it immediately. Why are you taking your time, Mashgiach? So we can't use it. We need to know. And a big ashgoches like OK Kosher or you or others will also announce if there is a big problem with a specific vegetable sometime. Yeah.
Do you have to go through the cloth, like every inch of the cloth, or just put it on top of?
Just to make sure that the center is here and you know exactly what's the amount of, but the cloth from where to where was water going through.
So you need to move this around.
A little bit, yeah. This is what I did before. Like that. But mainly you see. It's this way.
In the booklet, when it goes over the process of cleaning broccoli, it doesn't mention a light box. So how do you recommend people if they don't have a light box to check?
Maybe by the akdama of all shita, but the akdama, you have a light box. But if you don't have a light box, it's fine. You can just use your phone with your flashlight. You need a good light, not a dark place, that you are comfortable and you can see what you're looking for.
Go like this to like this. Would that be enough?
If you feel that it's good enough and you have a good eye, yes.
But that would be only with the mesh. Like broccoli would have to have the shorter.
Yeah, how can you check broccoli piece by piece?
What if you don't trust your eyesight?
So depends. This is already a question for a mashpia and sometime for a doctor. I mean to say we have to be we say every morning. What's the famous thing? No connection to our subject today, but it's a nice thing. A young boy, maybe 14 years old, with a kippah sruga. You know what's a kippah sruga? A modern Orthodox boy, a frum guy in the 70s, used to live in Crown Heights. Crown Heights used to be a frum neighborhood for all communities, Satmar, modern Orthodox. The majority of the Rebbes of other Hasidim lived in Crown Heights then, and then they moved. So he worked in a grocery store as a delivery boy, and he did deliveries to the Rebbe's house, and he didn't know that it's the Rebbe's house. One day, someone told him, you're going to the Lubavitcher Rebbe's house, and the Rebbetzin is opening the door for him. So next time that the Rebbetzin opened for him the door, he says, are you the Lubavitcher Rebbetzin? Mrs. Schneerson, she says, yes. Can I ask you something? She says, yes, please. He says, can you tell me what is your husband's favorite piece of davening? Prayer? She says, I don't know, I have to ask him. So next time when he came with a delivery, she says, I asked my husband, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and the Rebbe says that his most favorite piece of davening is Moedeh Ani. So now, this is the end of the story. But can we think a second? And that's an answer for you about the box. We say, Moedeh Ani lefanecho, Melech Chai v'Kayom, shechazarto b'nishmosi b'chem lo, Rabo emunosecho. Can someone translate it to English? Just translation, please. Huh? No. 1 second. The last 2 words, can you say loud?
Great is your faithfulness. You have faithfulness.
Oh, 1 second. So until now, that we think about Moedeh Ani, we knew that there is only one emunah. Emunah of a Yid in Hashem. And also a Goy has to believe in Hashem. Now we're talking about another way of emunah. Hashem has emunah in us. Not Rabo emunoseinu, Rabo emunosecho. Now when I'm getting up after a terrible day yesterday, and sometimes we have days that we think, how can I wake up in the morning and to do better? And Hashem is telling me to say this line, that Rabo emunosecho, Hashem believes in me. Now, if Hashem believes in me, who am I not to believe in myself? So the same thing in Halachos, the Gemara, the Halacha, gave us a way to do things. And in every generation, there is the Chachomim, the Rabbonim, and the Poskim, that they are taking the Halachos and not Chas v'Shalom being Meshane, just making them practically how to do. So if someone is saying, my eyes are not healthy enough, that I can trust myself, some Mashgichim, for example, they will be very good for the system, for opening everything, for making sure should not be fires of a non-Jew. Everything that goes into the restaurant should be kosher. Everything that goes out should be with 2 simonim if it's meat or fish, if it's milchiks, 1 simen. And for box, they're not eligible to check box because they don't have good eyes enough. So this is fine. So a person can say, I don't want to check. Or depends which vegetable. For some vegetables, I can feel more comfortable to check. Some vegetables, I will give a friend to check. Or 2 people together, can you help me? Another check, and then you feel more comfortable. But to say I'm not eating from anything just because I don't believe in myself depends where it's coming from. If it's coming from a physical place that maybe I have a problem and I can't see little bugs. Now, we are not looking for something that you can't see. We're looking for things that you can see in normal eyes. But it's a very good question. Yeah.
If you're just checking small amounts of lettuce, like not 3 heads at a time, what would you recommend as the most practical, easiest way to check it?
I would still do what I said before, not with ishmate, washing very, very good. Better to soak it in water for a few minutes with soap. Depends in the quality of the lettuce, but even if you do it without, because when it's in the water and you rub it with your fingers gently, it's better. And then you wash it very, very good, and you check one by one on top of a light box, or with a flashlight, or against a strong light, like that. They're taking a piece. Opening places, corners. No, not just like that. No, because just like that will make it wet. Not going to help for box. I really need to open it to make sure that all places got water and also the zerem, the stream. So let me tell you something. If you're checking every single one, you have a good eye, you have a very good place with a light. Halacha doesn't tell you that you're not allowed to eat dirt or afar, sand or dirt. You want to eat it? Eat it if it's without box. But you really want to have it clean. So you don't, for example, spring mix that comes triple washed. If you wash it, sometimes you kill it. So I will say sometimes to mashgichim that they don't want to wash it, they should really check all of them. They should spread it on a white planet, and they should see if it's from a good company that it's triple washed seriously. And you really check, maybe not every little piece, but in general you spread it, not you check a handful. You check it in general, and you see that it's fine, you're turning over a few pieces, then it's fine. But if you just assuming that it's fine, so depends that this is what Rabbi Hanoka mentioned before. But to wash means to open them. Kale even more. Kale is very tricky. Kale has a lot of places that it's more close, more brachim, like flowers, like yeah. You see here? You see this? This is, you don't have to break it, but you have to make sure the water should go in. What's the question?
Some people check just like 3 pieces
after doing
What's that sutta about? Like, why do people say that?
So some people will say, if I see that, number one, we're talking about a really good quality bag, and they want to go about chazoke. It's a kule, means, how do you say, it's a lenience. It's better to really make sure that it's free from bugs. But in halacha, you have levels. So if you want to be makel, and you want to just take a handful or 3 pieces of a specific amount, so according to some shitas that we don't go according to them in general, we're trying not to, but if you say that it's treif, you can't.
How's it different than the spring mix? You said
The spring mix is another thing. Spring mix, the company did triple wash.
Okay, and if you do triple wash and then you check 3.
By spring mix,
Yeah.
so this is even better. When you do the wash, it's not just checking 3. You're doing a wash. You're making sure everything was washed properly, very, very good. And then you're checking 3. This is a good system.
For spring mix or
For this kind of stuff. But
Say for lettuce, for romaine lettuce?
so I would, if you have a event and you can't do differently, better you should do with the shmate for event. If you have a case that you have to do, better to do this way. But if you can't, you should do with soap. If you did with soap the 2 times and then you washed very, very, very good and then you check 3, it's not better than nothing. It's good. But I would say that the shmate is better.
I saw a lot of people not using shampoo, using just a white t-shirt, plain t-shirt.
If they feel that if it's a material that really box cannot go through, should be fine many times. Depends, you have to trust yourself that you know what you're doing. If you're taking a towel, I saw someone in a restaurant who wants to use a towel. I said, to the towel after you wash and you make it wet, it's not anymore, it's not like that. It's not tight. All the box can go through, so how can you check? And also by a towel, you can't really see. It's but a t-shirt, not a t-shirt, like a Shabbos shirt, like that, some will be good.
And is this reusable?
Oh, 200 times you can use it. You can use it much.
How do you clean it?
You wash it very good and you aim it to dry a little bit.
We'll take questions and then we'll wrap up and then whoever else has questions, if Rabbi Weinfeld.
Yeah.
You said that strawberries are seasonal. What's the best, like, when is the best time?
So you don't want to get strawberries in the winter for the summer, right?
No, yeah, but it's fine if you don't eat strawberries. Like, you'll be fine if you don't eat it.
If you go to a normal supermarket that they buy always and they get every day or every other day vegetables and fruit, you can buy all year round strawberries and wash them good.
How would you recommend washing arugula? It's like they come in the store.
It's like spring mix.
What?
It's like spring
So
mix.
they come triple washed from like a good company, but like no action, just triple washed. What would be the next step?
So it's very difficult to answer because depends. We found by the JLI retreat, like I told you, many boxes in arugula, triple washed, because it was very hot, and maybe they was traveling a few days until they came to the hotel with the trucks.
Okay, Empire Kosher.
Empire Kosher, so it's a good supermarket. They get fresh a few times a week. So I don't know which company. It's very specifically. If you will WhatsApp me, Madricha, the Margenet has my WhatsApp. So you can ask me about a specific company and I can find out if they really have a good system or not. I can't just answer.
If you have a trafe sink, how do you do this mesh thing?
What's the problem?
No, basically, with the shmata thing, right? Could you put these strainers directly into the sink?
No. So how do you put the dishes in the sink?
In that thing, in the washing room.
You have like that?
Yeah.
So you have this?
Yeah.
So do the same. use this.
To put the.
This on top of this. Yeah. Oh, this is what people are using for treif kitchens. Okay.
Any other questions?
Very difficult. So you see, the only way what we write is to open them, even they are so little, and to open all of them. So then what do you do with that?
It has it half, but like, okay, so you have to open every single.
And many times they will be very clean. Or the same thing with how do you call it, asparagus. Asparagus. If there is any box, if there is any box, they will hide in the triangles. You know the triangles?
Oh, in the.
At the top. So if they are very thin, we will ask for anyone to cut all the triangles, to shave them, and then you can wash it and use it. But then you don't have the nice shape of the asparagus. If they are pencil asparagus, you need to go out and wash it. They are saying here out and wash it. So then it's fine because we find that in pencil ones, the very thin ones, there is much less box than the big ones. By nature, we don't know why. Maybe there is a reason, but I don't know why.
Somebody asked, what about 80 acres lettuce is more clean and.
I've got lettuce.
80 acres.
He's not familiar with that brand.
Okay, we're not sure.
What about for cilantro, you're washing, so you want to scrub it with your hands, not like,
Cilantro. It's like celery, like parsley, like.
But it's just softer.
So chocolate, you don't have to do it very, very strong. You have to mix it. Yeah, more. It's not like lettuce. By lettuce, you rub it, but here you have to just mix it very good. Okay?
Is it different than a smoothie?
What? That's not. Depends how thin it is. He spoke about the way how much you put it in a blender.
Good process. But the escalate.
But you still see pieces.
I want to just thank everyone for coming. So before everyone disperses, I want to thank everyone for coming and thank Rabbi Weinfeld and Rabbi Hanoka, who spoke before, for the kashrus education.
Can be sometimes like a little that.
To thank you for the kashrus education and the checking guides that everyone gets to take home today. The examples you brought in the demonstrations brought a lot of clarity to this important job that we have as Yidden who want to eat healthfully. And I learned that drying your lettuce and keeping it in the fridge helps to keep away from bugs. So that's new.
Thanks for Hanukkah also.
Yes, thank you. Yes, and Michal Baruch Hashem had a baby girl, Chaya Ita, and this is usually what her job, what I'm doing right now. She's behind this whole organization, and she asks if we can please take a living chassidus selfie. So if our speaker is okay with it, would you be comfortable to be in a selfie?